Good evening. Welcome to my cave. Today we will be having a very special book talk and I hope you enjoy. The book we are going to discuss tonight is three of my all-time favorites. Twilight, Interview with a Vampire, and Pandora. I loved all three books and I hope you do too. Twilight is a vampire romance novel by Stephanie Meyers. It's one book in a series of 4 novels. The book begins when 17-year-old Bella leaves Phoenix, Arizona and moves to a new place, Forks, Washington, to live with her dad. She does it so her mom can travel around with her baseball player husband. Forks is rainy and Bella doesn't like it much. To her, it's boring and pretty lame. However, there's one bright spot in the rainy days. Edward Cullen, the stunningly handsome guy she sits next to in biology class. During Bella's first day in school, Edward Cullen displays strange level of tension towards her. She believes it's because he doesn't like her much. However, she is so far from the truth. They start talking and realized they really liked each other. He liked her so much that one day in the school parking lot, an out-of-control van comes flying at Bella and is about to crush her to death. And when all of a sudden the van is stopped by an unknown force. Guess who? Edward. Completely unharmed, realizing she should have been dead, Bella turns her head and sees Edward, whom she saw across the parking lot just a couple seconds ago. Now he's kneeling right next to her with his hands against the van. Bella looks at the hand dent in the van and realized that Edward was the one that rescued her. Bella didn't tell anyone about how Edward saved her life. But when she approached him to explain how could he have gotten across the lot so quickly and stopped the van with his hand, he isn't too keen to confess and refused to comment. The spark between the two continues to grow despite Edward's attempt to avoid her. Edward simply makes excuses Bella is not willing to accept. However, he mentioned that it's in their best interest to stay away from each other, as getting involved with her would put her in immense danger. Bella surrenders herself to James, but Edward shows up and fights him. The rest of the Collins family joins in the fight. The tracker James, however, managed to bite Bella in her hand before he's killed. Edward doesn't want Bella to turn into a vampire and begins to suck venom-infected blood from her womb. He's now tasting the blood, the smell of which he found so hard to resist. He was stopped by his adopted father, Carlisle. Bella was saved, and after she recovers, she returned to Fort to attend prom with Edward. As the two walk into the night, Bella exposes herself and pleads with him to embrace her and turn her into one of his kind. Edward refused. This is the story of Lewis as told in his own words, of his journey through mortal and immortal life. Lewis recounts how he became a vampire at the hands of the sinister Lestat. His story walks us through the streets of New Orleans, defining critical moments such as his discovery of the exquisite lost young child, Claudia. Lewis fights the urge, yet he makes Claudia a vampire, trapping her inside the body of a small child. Lewis and Claudia form an alliance and even settle down for a while in the wealthy French quarters. Lewis remembers Claudia's struggle to understand herself and the hatred they both have for Lestat that sends them halfway across the world to seek others of their kind. Lewis and Claudia are desperate to find somewhere they belong, to find others who understand, and someone who knows what and why they are. Lewis and Claudia travel Europe, eventually coming to Paris and the originally successful Theatre dos Vampires. The theater of vampires pretending to be mortals, pretending to be vampires. Here they meet the magnetic Ahmad, who brings them into a whole society of vampires. But Lewis and Claudia finds that finding others like themselves provides no easy answer and in fact presents dangers they cannot imagine. Anne wrote this book spinning the tragic and triumphant life experience of a soul, as well as the struggles of its characters. Interview with a Vampire captures the political and social changes of two continents. The novel also introduced Lestat, Anne's most captivating character. The book theme centers around immortality, change, loss, sexuality, and power. I really hope that you enjoy reading this book. I did. My final book review is on the book Pandora by Anne Rice. Pandora tells the story of a 2,000-year-old vampire who is seduced by a newly made vampire, David Talbot, into recording her memoirs. He persuades her to do it and so return with her to Rome in the year 15 BC. Here we learn about her human life and how she first met the beautiful young boy, Marius. She relates how she became separated by circumstances and how they reunite when she was 25 years old. Of course, by this time, Marius was a vampire. This in no way deters Pandora, since she has been in love with Marius since the first time they met as a child, and he is also in love with her. We are shown how it comes about that she became a blood drinker and the stormy life she shared with Marius for the next 200 years. She is determined to have the answers to all her questions. However, Marius is a pessimist, and this, among other things, caused their life to be rocky and full of turmoil. Eventually, they part ways, but they never stop loving each other. All these books were wonderful reads, and I hope you enjoy my reviews. Good night, and see you next time.